Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Wednesday, February 17th, 2021. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's college basketball, NBA, and NHL games, look ahead to today's games in each sport. We'll go over last night's and this morning's results of the Australian Open quarterfinals and look ahead to the semifinals. Masked Dancer finale tonight. We'll preview it, and I'll predict who wins and who will come in second and third place, respectively. The news and notes segment, which I started yesterday, and my best bet of the day. All right, we'll start in college basketball. We will go over the results from yesterday and look ahead to a slate today in which there's a lot of games on there that gotten postponed, whether that's due to COVID or the weather that's coming to some areas. So without further ado, here we go. Akron over Northern Illinois, 81-76. Oklahoma State over Iowa State, 74-58. UConn over Providence, 73-61. Georgia over number 20, Missouri, 80-70. Number 24, Arkansas over Florida, 75-64. Wagner over Mount St. Mary, 61-39. Maryland over Nebraska, 64-50. Southeast Missouri State over Austin Peay, 86-81 in overtime. St. Francis Brooklyn over Fairleigh Dickinson, 83-75. Tulsa over Temple, 72-66. Purdue over Michigan State, 75-65. Rhode Island over Dayton, 91-89 in double overtime, so best bet comes through. Bowling Green over Ball State, 75-62. Toledo over Miami of Ohio, 87-75. Kent State over Western Michigan, 76-69. St. John's over Xavier, 93-84. Number 5, Illinois over Northwestern, 73-66. Loyola Marymount over Santa Clara, 76-73. And St. Louis over LaSalle, 78-57. All right, today's games, we got 4 o'clock, Wagner at Mount St. Mary's. My line is Mount St. Mary's by a half. And I don't know if FanDuel has a line out yet because ESPN does not. And I do not see a line for that game, but I do think that Mount St. Mary's is probably the right side. Iona Quinnipiac at 4 o'clock. I'm at Iona 6.5, and that's what it is. Total's 140.5. I'm going to take the under 140.5 in that one. Southern and Mississippi Valley State. My line is Southern 15.5, and it's Southern 20.5. I have to take Mississippi Valley State getting the points. 4:30 ACC Network, NC State Pitt. I'm at Pick'em, and it's Pitt 3.5. I'm taking NC State plus the point. 5 o'clock, Boston University Holy Cross. My line's BU 9.5, and it's 2.5. I'm laying at 2.5 with Boston University. Evansville, Indiana State. My line is Indiana State 6.5, and that's what it is. Total's 127.5. I have to take the over. 6 o'clock, Gardner-Webb, Bradford. My projection is Radford by 5.5. And it is Radford by 3. So I'm going to lay the 3 with Radford against Gardner-Webb. Alrighty, next up is Marquette Butler. I'm at Pick'em. And it's Butler by 2. I'm taking Marquette in the points. Don't feel great about it, though. Syracuse and Louisville at 6:30 on the ACC Network. Marquette Butler, by the way, 6:30 on Fox Sports 1. So Syracuse, Louisville, I'm at Louisville 3.5, and it's 141.5 is the total. I'm taking the over, but I don't feel good about it. St. Francis Brooklyn at Fairleigh Dickinson. I'm at Dickinson by 4, and I don't see a lineup yet. VCU, Richmond on the CBS Sports Network. I'm at VCU 1.5, and that's what the line is. 142 is the total. I'm going to take the under. Next up is South Florida and UCF on ESPNU. I'm at SF 5.5, and it's CF by 3. I'm taking SF plus the points and plus 135 straight up. Big Ten Network, Maryland, Nebraska. I'm at Maryland 5.5. I don't see a line out yet for this matchup. SEC Network, Kentucky, Vandy. I'm at Kentucky 8.5. And it's 3.5. I'm laying it with Kentucky. Mercer and ETSU. I'm at ETSU by 4, and it's 4.5. Totals 136.5, and I'm taking the over. Citadel, Wofford. I'm at Wofford 10, and it's 8. I'm going to lay the 8 with Wofford. Samford, Furman. I'm at Furman 12, 15.5. I'm taking Samford plus the 15.5 at minus 115. Western Carolina, Chattanooga. I'm at 9.5 for Chattanooga, and it's 8. Totals 144.5. I'm taking the over. Northeastern North Carolina on the ACC Network next. I am at Carolina by 6.5. I'm fascinated to see this line. And it's 16. I'm taking Northeastern. Oh, my goodness. Next up is at 8 o'clock, Arizona State at number 17, USC. I'm at Trojans by 8, and it's 10. I'm taking Arizona State plus the 10. Valpo at number 22, Loyola Chicago. I'm at Loyola 12.5, and it's 20.5. I'm taking Valpo plus the points. Kansas and Kansas State, number 23, Kansas, I should say. I'm at Kansas 16, and it's 13. I'm going to lay the 13 with Kansas. Drake in Northern Iowa. I'm at Drake 10, and it's 6.5. I'm going to lay the 6.5 with Drake. Wyoming, New Mexico. I'm at Wyoming 5, and it's 6. Totals 138.5. I'm taking the over. 8:30 Fox Sports 1, DePaul, Seton Hall. I'm at Hall 13. It's 13.5. I don't have a total out yet, but it's but I didn't do totals, so I would say this game settles like into like the high 140s if I had to do a projection in my head. Duke, Wake Forest on the ACC Network. I'm at Duke 10.5, and it's 6.5. I'm going to lay it with Duke. 9 o'clock SEC Network, South Carolina, number 19, Tennessee. I'm at Tennessee 8.5, and it's 11.5. I'm taking South Carolina. Big Ten Network, Minnesota, Indiana. I'm at Indiana 2, and it's 6.5. I'm taking Mini in the points. CBS Sports Network, Utah State, Boise State. I'm at Pick'em, and it's Boise 1.5. Total 137.5. I'm going to take the over. And 9:15, you have Missouri State and Southern Illinois. I'm at Missouri State 6.5. And it's 5.5. Totals 136.5. And I'm going to take the under at minus 105. All right, so there you have it for college basketball for the day. Now we'll move on to the NBA. We will look back on the games from yesterday and look ahead to a very busy slate for tonight in the association. Celtics over the Nuggets 112-99. Celtics with a big win go to 14-13. Denver 15-12. Jaylen Brown 27 points. Nikola Jokic 43 points for Denver. Pelicans over the Grizzlies 144-113. Impressive showing on national television. They're 12-15. Memphis 11-12. Zion 31 points. And Ja Morant 28 with 8 assists and 7 rebounds. Raptors over the Bucks 124-113. Toronto 13-15. Milwaukee 16-12. Fred VanVleet had 33 with 7 assists. Giannis 34 points, 10 boards, and 8 assists. Lakers over the Timberwolves 112-104. Lakers 22-7. Minnesota 7-21. LeBron had 30-13 with 7 assists. Anthony Edwards 28 points for Minnesota. Trailblazers over the Thunder 115-104. Portland 17-10. Oklahoma City 11-16. Damian Lillard 31 points and 10 assists. Isaiah Roby had 10 boards. Oops, I had the wrong stat up. And LeGwen Stewart had 23 points. Nets come back from 24 down in the second quarter, defeat the Suns 128-124. Brooklyn 18-12. Phoenix 17-10. James Harden 38 points and 11 assists. Chris Paul 29 points and 7 assists. Spurs Pistons postponed. The next couple Spurs games will be postponed due to 4 players testing positive for COVID. And the Charlotte's on a mini pause as well due to contract tracing because those two teams played each other recently. All right, Wednesday slate, which is tonight. You have the Knicks against the Magic. I'm at Knicks 4.5, total 212.5. Meanwhile, the Knicks are 4.5 point favorites, total 209. I love the over. The Knicks have been a better offensive team lately. I think they put up 120 in back-to-back games, so I like the over 209.5. And my total's not far off, but I just think my total's low. 7:30, you have the Hawks at the Celtics. I'm at Boston 4.5, total 222.5. Meanwhile, it's Boston 4.5, total 224. So I've gotten the correct line the first 2 shots so far. 224 is the total. So I have a slight edge on the under, but I want to bet it. 7:30 ESPN, Rockets 76ers. I'm at Philly 13, total 223. Meanwhile, it's Philly 11, total 224. I have to lay the 11 with the 76ers. Nuggets Wizards, I'm at, and that's an 8 o'clock game, by the way. Nuggets 8.5, total 229. Meanwhile, it's Nuggets 4, total 232. I absolutely love Denver -4. That is so low. You have the Pacers and the Timberwolves. I'm at Pacers 10, total 224. Meanwhile, it's Pacers 6, total 227. I'm going to lay the 6 with the Pacers. All right, Pistons at the Bulls. It was supposed to be the Mavericks, but I think that Mother Nature had plans. So schedule change a little bit. I guess it's a makeup game, perhaps. I'm sitting at Bulls 4.5, total 226.5. Meanwhile, it is Bulls 4.5, total 222.5. I've taken the over. Bulls over. Oh, loving it. This is just fantastic. So give me over 222.5. 9 o'clock Trailblazers Pelicans. I'm at Portland by half, total 229.5. Meanwhile, it is New Orleans 3, total 233.5. I am taking the under. I feel better about the under than I do about taking the Blazers because of the injuries, so I'm taking under 233.5. Thunder Grizzlies, 7.5 or 4.5 in favor of Memphis, depending on the status of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and 221's the total. Memphis 7, total 223.5. So they must think no SGA. So I'm going to go with my closer total with 7.5 and a 221, and that's at 223.5. But I like the under. No SGA, probably, so under 223.5. 10 o'clock ESPN Heat Warriors. I'm at Golden State 1.5, total 122 or 222, and it's Golden State 1.5, total 223.5. I'm not going to bet it, but I have a slight edge on the under. And then Jazz Clippers. I'm at Jazz 5, total 223.5. Meanwhile, it's Jazz 3.5, total 227.5. I'm taking the under 227.5. No Paul George. Jazz play defense. The Clippers play defense too. So give me the under 227.5 in that one. Now we'll move on to the NHL. We'll go over the games from last night, and we will look ahead to what I don't think is a busy slate tonight, but I could be wrong about that. So without further ado, here we go. Devils over the Rangers 5-2. The Devils 5-3-2. Rangers 4-7-3. The number 3 started game with 37 saves on 39 shots. Mackenzie Black with the number 2 started game with a goal and assists. Nicholas Merkley in the number 1 star of the game with 3 assists for New Jersey. Janne Kukkonen. So Devils come off the COVID pause, and they come out and have a great third period and defeat the Rangers. Islanders over the Sabres 3-0. The Islanders 8-4-3. Buffalo 4-6-2. The number 3 started game with an assist, Ryan Pulock. Number 2 started game with a goal and assist, Juan Gabriel Pago. And the number 1 started game with 20 saves on 20 shots. His first career shutout and first career win, Ilya Sorokin. Capitals over the Penguins 3-1. Capitals 7-4-3. Pittsburgh 7-6-1. The number 3 started game didn't have a point but played a good game. Nick Doid, the number 2 started game with 26 saves on 27 shots. A good bounce-back effort for Vince Vanacek. And the number 1 started game with 2 assists, Richard Panik. Avs over the Golden Knights 3-2. The Avs 8-4-1. Vegas 10-3-1. The number 3 started game with the Golden Backs, Pacioretty. Number 2 started game didn't have a point but just played well, Alec Martinez. And the number 1 started game with the goal, Nazem Kadri. Kings over the Wild 4-0. The Kings 5-6-3. Minnesota 6-6. Number 3 started game with assist, Gabriel Velarde. Number 2 started game with a goal and an assist, Jared Anderson-Dolan. And the number 1 started game with 28 saves on 28 shots, Jonathan Quick. Predator starts postponed again due to the weather in Dallas. Tonight you have 5 games. 5 o'clock you have the Panthers against the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are minus 154 favorites. Panthers are plus 130. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. Carolina minus 1.5 is plus 176. Florida plus 1.5 is minus 210. I'm going to go with the over. Carolina's just been on fire offensively, so I'm going to go over 6.5. 7 o'clock, the Senators and the Maple Leafs. Toronto's minus 350. Ottawa's plus 280. Over under 6.5. Unders even money. Under or overs minus 120. Maple Leafs minus 1.5 is minus 126, and the Senators plus 1.5 is plus 108. I'm going to take another over on these two teams. Neither of these teams really are very good defensive teams. And I think that both of these teams are going to score in the net. Toronto had that epic collapse against Ottawa the other day. I won't be surprised if they bounce back and win, but I think it might have to take an over to do so. 7:30 NBCSN, Blackhawks, Red Wings. I think the NBCSN game should be Panthers, Hurricanes, but no, they like original 6 big market teams. So Chicago is minus 142, Detroit's plus 120, over under 5.5. Blackhawks minus 1.5 is plus 198. Detroit plus 1.5 is minus 240. I'm going to go over 5.5. The Blackhawks have been scoring goals a lot lately. Detroit, meanwhile, has not. So go. This has, to me, the makings of a 4-2 game with the last goals and empty netter, so give me over 5.5. So 3 picks in hockey and 3 overs. 10 o'clock, Vancouver, Calgary. Calgary minus 152, Vancouver plus 128, over under 6.5, unders minus 125, overs plus 105. Vancouver plus 1.5 is minus 200. Calgary minus 1.5 is plus 168. I'm going to go with the 4th over of the night, or of the day for hockey, plus 105. I think that's too good. That's good value on 2 teams that can score the puck in the net and aren't very good defensively. So give me over 6.5 and plus 105. And then Jets Oilers on NBCSN. Oilers minus 146. Jets are plus 124. Over under 6.5. Overs minus 125. Under is plus 105. Jets plus 1.5 is minus 220. Edmonton minus 1.5 is plus 184. 5 hockey picks, 5 overs. Jets Oilers are all offensive machines. I think both these teams could potentially get the 4 goals. It's going to be over 6.5 at minus 125 for that game. Now we will go over the results in the Australian Open from last night's quarterfinals. We are going to start on the men's side of things as we normally would. So, without further ado, here we go. Yesterday, Daniil Medvedev over Alexander Rublev in 3 sets. So that's 4/7. Number 1, Novak Djokovic over number 6, Alexander Zverev in 4 sets. And number 5, Stefanos Tsitsipas upsets number 2, Rafael Nadal in 5 sets as the semifinal. Tonight we have number 1, Novak Djokovic against Aslan Karastev. And then Friday we have number 4, Daniil Medvedev against number 5, Stefanos Tsitsipas. I think this is the better matchup of the two. Obviously, so we're gonna pick right now the matchup that is going to be going on tonight. Number 1, Novak Djokovic against number 1, Aslan Karastev. Karastev has been the Cinderella story of the men's side of the Open, but all good things must come to an end, and I think this will come to an end tonight. So give me Novak Djokovic in 3 sets. Women's quarterfinal results from yesterday. Number 22, Jennifer Brady over Jessica Pegula in 3 sets. Number 25, Carolina Muchova upsets number 1, Ashley Barty in 3 sets. Number 10, Serena Williams defeats number 2, Simona Halep in 2 sets. You got the semifinals tonight. At 10 o'clock, you have number 3, Naomi Osaka against number 10, Serena Williams, and number 25, Carolina Muchova against number 22, Jennifer Brady. Normally, the traditional fan would say the Ahsoka-Serena match is the de facto final. I don't believe that because I think that Muchova or Brady could give the winner of Ahsoka against Serena a run for their money. I think that this is 2 great matches we have in the semifinal. All right, in the first one, I'm going to go with Ahsoka in 3. Serena hasn't made a Grand Slam final in a while, and this is perhaps the best I've seen her play in a while, but I'm going to go with Ahsoka over Serena in 3. And in Muchova and Brady, this is a great match. I think this has potential to be one of the all-time entertaining semifinals matches in the Australian Open that we've seen in recent years. I'm going to go with Carolina Muchova in 3 sets. So the women's final I'm projecting to be Naomi Osaka against Carolina Muchova on Friday night, and that's going to be really, really cool. So there you have it for tennis today, and now I'm going to preview tonight's Masked Dancer finale. This was a fun season to cover. Fun little Masked Singer spinoff. Masked Singer returns in 3 weeks from today, so we have a 2-week break from the Masked shows, and then Singer returns on the 10th of March. So it's going to be an interesting Dancer finale, and maybe they'll preview Singer Season 5, which we've seen the ads on Fox, and it's supposedly going to be great. So I'm going to do predictions for Masked Singer Season 5 on who I think could be under the masks on March 10th's podcast. But we're going to make this Masked Dancer finale. All right. So the final 3 are the Cotton Candy, the Sloth, and the Tulip. The Cotton Candy has shown hints about possibly being an Olympian, whether that's a gymnast or an ice skater. Last week they hint about the UK and Paris. So obviously 2 Olympic clues. Supergirl Cup. 6. Could that mean 6 medals? There's a ballet hit. Taking a back seat for love. So obviously their focus is right now on their profession, not really their love life. Been against competition in the past. Big hint there. And last week they did, Cotton Candy did a performance to Get Ready for This, Hey Mickey, mix. Obviously, Get Ready for This is by 2 Unlimited and Hey Mickey by Tony Basile. And then last week, there were panelist connections. And she had the connection to Will Arnett. And Will Arnett guessed this person on The Masked Singer. And he threw out Tara Lipinski. And I'm sticking with the guest I've had the last couple weeks, and that is Simone Biles. The sloth, there was hints about this person being a ladies' man and a bad boy. A lot of pandas. I don't know what that means. Ice skates. This person was lonely until they met the love of their life. Jack-o'-lantern Spice, a U-bird. And this person performed to Dancing with the Stranger. And the panelist connection was with Brian Austin Green, is that this person worked with one of his co-stars. Look, there's a cookie, and that was interesting. A couple weeks ago, this performer had a sign in its performance that said Yankee Way. And in the group performance last week, the hit was Miami. Who's the owner of the Miami Marlins and who played for the New York Yankees? Derek Jeter. It's wild. And there's another hint in there, is that this is out of his comfort zone. This is not something Derek Jeter would do, right? So that's a little crazy. And then last but not least, the tulip. This is the one I feel the best about. They hint about being the youngest in this competition. They hint about missing their best friend. There's an envelope with the D on it, which means, I think, dance. Crushes, which means that this person, there's probably a lot of guys that have a crush on this girl, or she crushes competition. There's an iceberg with wings. There was hints about sleeping with the ZZZ. This person, who I think this is, his last name begins with the Z. Last week, the episode of 2 weeks ago had a chips hint. This person loves potato chips, and that is Mackenzie Ziegler. I was guessing Maddie Ziegler for this character the entire season until last week, when Ashley Tisdale threw out Maddie Ziegler, and she threw out Mackenzie as well. And I think Mackenzie makes more sense because they're TikTok hints, and Mackenzie is a TikToker. Maddie is not. So I think this is Mackenzie Ziegler. Last week, obviously, the zebra went home, and it was Oscar De La Hoya. All right, so third place, I'm going to go with the sloth, and I'm going to go with the ridiculous guess of Derek Sanderson Jeter. And that's the guess that I feel no confidence about. I'm just basing that off of the Miami hit in the group performance, the Yankee Way sign, and not, this is not the person's comfort zone. Although I wouldn't rule out A-Rod, and I wouldn't rule out Leslie Odom Jr. Second place, I think, is going to be the tulip. And I am going to say that this is Mackenzie Ziegler, formerly of Dance Moms, and I feel very confident about that. And I think Cotton Candy will win it all. She's been the best performer the whole year, although Tulip is going to give her a run for their money. It's a 2-horse race, in my opinion. But I think Cotton Candy has more of a wow factor to it. And I think this is Olympic gold medalist gymnast Simone Biles. And I feel pretty confident about that one as well. And if I get Biles and Ziegler right, I'll be very happy. I know I'm probably wrong with my sloth guess. Maybe that's wishful thinking on my part, being a Yankees fan. But some of the hints match up. You never know. And I think that there could very well be a surprise that nobody sees coming tonight. And I think the most likely candidate for that is the sloth. Alrighty, now news and notes. There's some trades in Major League Baseball that broke over the last couple of minutes. First one, the Tampa Bay Rays making some news. Trading away catching prospect Ronaldo Hernandez and minor league infielder Nick Sogard to the Red Sox for pitchers Jeffrey Springs and Chris Mazza. So the Rays right here have some pitching depth that they're adding. And then the Red Sox are just strengthening their farm system a little bit. Maybe Springs and Mazza make the team as garbage time innings eaters. And then the Rays also bring back Oliver Perez on a 1-year deal. Perez was somebody that is a reliever, obviously. I'm sorry, Oliver Drake. Minor league deal due back midseason after an injury. I had Oliver Perez in my head because I was thinking Oliver, but Oliver Drake, reliable reliever out of their bullpen and the occasional opener for them. And then the other trade Tampa Bay made, that they trade away John Curtis to the Marlins for first base prospect Evan Edwards. So they trade away a reliever that was good for them the last couple years, and then Evan Edwards, a first base prospect, and they add him to their intriguing young position player core. I don't know if he'll make the team because they have Jai-Man Choi at first and Nate Lau they have potentially that could play there. Or did they trade away Nate Lau? Why do I feel like they traded away Nate Lau? Yes, they did trade away Nate Lau and Jake Gunther. So, yeah, they did trade away Nate Lau. I forgot about that. So, Evan Edwards, and Jai-Man Choi, and maybe another possible, acquisition too. So, couple Rays trades on the day where, camps are opening across the country for Major League Baseball spring training in both Arizona and Florida. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I think that there's going to be some cancellations of spring games potentially with some COVIDs and all that. But the vaccine's out, and I think that sports players across the country should be getting them. I really think that they should be getting them, and I think they will eventually. But yeah, it's good to see spring training starting on time, and obviously Major League Baseball looks like it's going to start on time as well. Alrighty, best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. There is one that really stood out to me, and that is Northeastern getting all the points at Carolina. This is not the Carolina of old. Carolina's hanging by a thread in terms of an NCAA tournament appearance after what would have been a miss for them. So, giving Northeastern plus the points. I think that this is a competitive game. I don't know if Northeastern will actually win the game. I don't think so, but I think this was going to be a competitive game, and they have a good coach in Bill Cohen. And I think that they'll hang around Carolina. I'm going to say Carolina wins by like 11 maybe, because that's somewhere in between what I have this number at and what FanDuel has it at. So there you have it. Best bet, Northeastern getting a ton of points at UNC. All right, so that's it for the show today. I'm going to have Terry Cushman on tonight. He has not been on in a while. He hosts a Red Sox podcast. We'll talk about the baseball storylines and players that could potentially still be on the move before the season, and the free agents that are still left on the board and everything that happened in the offseason. So it'd be good to have Terry on. He has not been on in a long time, and we'll obviously talk about the state of the Boston Red Sox as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.